Hi, I'm Pam with PJ's Glass Creations, and my latest bobblehead is this adorable little puppy. You can see his head's kind of wiggly, and he's based on my son's new little puppy, Pippin. Very cute. If you'd like to know how to make this, follow this free tutorial. You can find the pattern on my Etsy site, pjsglasscreations.etsy.com. And if you follow through all the way to the end of this video, you will see how you can actually use this pattern to change it to make it look like your dog or any other dog. So let's get started. I wanted to create a dog bobblehead, and I'm using my son's new puppy. It's really cute. As my inspiration, you can see he has a little heart nose, so this one's going to have a heart nose. Actually, his name is Pippin, if you wanted to know. Take a look at his colorings that he has here. I'm going to be trying to duplicate some of those. Here he is, just a tiny bit older. His face has changed a little bit, so I'm going to use this picture for his face. And then I'm going to use this picture for his legs. And I have made a pattern, which you can get on my Etsy site. Look for the information in the description of this video. But here's all of his pieces. And here is his the rest of the pieces, and also some additional pieces that you will need. I'm not going to waste all of your time sitting here cutting out the pieces. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you already know what to do. And I am going to start with his head. So I'm going to move his other pieces away. And he's going to have a snout here, but I know that he has this little stripe of white going right down his forehead. So I have some white enamel paint, and this is an opaque white. Oh, you can tell it's been well used. I got it from AAE Glass. It's an easy fire enamel. There's other enamels out there you could use as well. You could probably also try to use Frit. That would work. And I'm just going to kind of mark where I want to put his markings. And I notice it comes out a little bit here. I know this looks really messy. And I don't have to go all the way down because his snout is going to be covering that. And it's fur, so I am not going to worry about having perfect edges on this either. It'll look more like fur if they're not perfect. You can see I'm just kind of dabbing at the edges. And I'm going to make sure that I have quite a bit of this in the middle. Otherwise, I'm going to see that black coming through once it fires. I think that's pretty good. He also has, well, I have the white out. He has a lot of white down his chest. So kind of here. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Just fill it all in. Get it nice and thick. Looks like I'm going to need more enamel. Running kind of short. If you do something like this, once it's dry, you can just scratch it off with a toothpick. Even your fingernail would work. And I know it looks really messy, but I promise you it will look good later. This is a golden brown that I'm using. I'm going to look at where his snout goes. His snout goes about here. So he kind of has brown eyebrows. I don't know if they're actually eyebrows, but they're like the eyebrow area. So I'm going to add that. Again, I'm not being too picky about it. I don't want it to look like like he's really stiff. I want him to look furry. And then he kind of goes like this. He kind of has markings like that. All of my pieces that need enamel on them are done. I'm going to put this in the toaster oven at about 200 degrees for about 10 minutes or so, just to make sure that it's dry, and then we can assemble. All of my parts are out of the oven, and now is the fun part, because now you get to see it actually become a dog. And I'm going to use some super glue. This is a Gorilla super glue. As long as it's not a gel super glue, any of them should work. You can also use Elmers or Glasstac, anything that works for you. I'm going to put his snout on and that cute little heart nose. And then when you cut your, I should have said this before, but when you cut your pink piece, make sure that it follows the contour of his head here. If not, you might need to do a little grinding. And the reason for that is that I didn't want too many layers here where his ear is, so I didn't want to put it underneath, because he would have then 3 layers there, and I worried about what might happen with 3 layers. So if you make that fit really snug, you can glue this part on his head, part on his under part of his ear, the pink part of his ear, and it will hold it in place. And since you're not doing a full fuse, this seam should be fine. Put his other ear on. And I'm going to use just a scrap to hold that one in place while it dries. Kind of hold it up. And I have 2 nuggets that are approximately 1/2 inch for his eyeballs. And you can see he's starting to look like that cute little puppy now. We're going to glue his legs. I'm going to hold this for just a second. I have 2 wires. Each one is about, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches long. It doesn't really matter. We're going to cut these to length later. And I'm going to sandwich that between his paw and his leg. And the purpose of the wire is to attach it to a base later. So there's one. And here's the other one. All right. You notice I did not attach his tail yet. We're going to do that later. And also I am going to do a tack fuse, and kind of a light tack fuse, because he's going to be tack fused twice, and I don't want him to lose too much definition. The reason we're doing it in 2 separate tack fusings is that when we put him together, he will have this wire running here, and it is held by a piece here and a piece here, and you can see his tail is here. And what happened is it had so many layers that it was kind of wobbly. And when I did my tack fuse, this was my first sample, you can see that his ear slid off here. It's not attached. And this leg moved a lot. It was over here and it moved all the way over here. So in order to avoid this, if we tack fuse these two separately, then everything will be intact. Then we can work on adding his tail and the wires. So this will go in for its first tack fuse. And again, it's not quite a full tack fuse. I'm gonna fire it about 5 minutes less than normal. It'll still be all together, but it'll be held together enough that when we do the second tack fuse, it's not going to lose all its definition. We'll put this in the kiln, and tomorrow we'll be ready for the next step. My dog is done with the first firing. You can see I have a little flaw in my enamel. Since I'm going to be firing him a second time, actually I have something here too. Since I'm going to be firing him a second time, I can touch that up, no problem. But I want to show you how to assemble. I am going to use my 2 pieces that are 1 inch by 1/2 inch. Trying to pick that up. And assemble it like this. Then this part here will go right to the top of his body. And this part here will be about where his eyeballs are. So it'll be about right here in his head. And I'm going to slip a piece of papyrus paper, or you can use thin fire paper, up here. And what this does is it makes a barrier between that wire and the back of his head right here, because we're gonna have to move that head away from the wire. And finally, maybe I should have put this on first, but I am going to slip his tail in here as well. And we're good to go. I'm going to put this in after it dries for another tack fuse. I'm going to use a conservative schedule, not very high and not very long, so I don't lose all my details. And when he comes out, we'll be ready to assemble and put him on a base. So my dog is out of the kiln, and you can see where I had the wire here. It's not attached because I had that thin fire paper there. And I just need to fold him up. So I'm gonna fold him forwards, so he's in half. Then I'm going to put my finger up in here and fold backwards. I'm kind of pushing this wire down here. I'm gonna fold backwards. And then squish his head down. And you can see the wire kind of makes an S, and it makes his head float above, which makes his head a little wobbly. Next, I need to get ready to put him on a base, and I have, for my other bobbleheads, used some wood discs, but this one, because it doesn't just have one wire like many of my bobbleheads have right here, it has 2. I needed a bigger disc, so I'm going to just put him here, and with a pencil I'm going to mark where my wires are, and then I'm going to drill a tiny hole about the diameter of this wire to put the wires in. I'm going to drill the holes, and I'll be right back. So I've drilled 2 tiny holes. Next I need to cut these wires to length. I'm just gonna guess at first. And I'll test it out. Make sure they're not going through the bottom. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to put some E6000 on the wire and on the bottom of his foot, so that his foot is also glued to that wood. That'll give him a little bit of extra stability. Find where my holes were. There we go. And after it dries, my bobblehead will be done. I wanted to show you this dog that I made, actually this one here. You can use to make other dogs as well. Maybe your dog has longer legs, so you could make the legs longer. Maybe your dog is skinnier. Maybe your dog has totally different ears, such as this Westie. I have Westie, so of course I had to make one. He has ears that are pointy, and I use some pink enamel. Actually, I use some hairspray and pink frit powder to make the centers of the ears. You can see I added kind of eyebrows to this one to make some expression. He doesn't have a heart nose. He has a different nose. I made his muzzle bigger, and I don't know if you can see that texture. I wanted to make his muzzle and his feet kind of like furry, so I added some fine frit. So there's all kinds of things you can do by using this basic dog pattern and altering it. You can make other dogs as well. In fact, if you made it really skinny, you might be able to make a cat. But if you keep in tune, I will probably make a cat pattern as well. That'll be coming up soon. So just wanted to show you that you're not just tied to this one dog. You can do whatever you want, make different markings on them, make different ears, different tails, and it totally changes, but it's the same dog pattern. Here's my finished product, as well as his friend, the Westie, the alternate pattern that you can make. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me. Bye.